What's going on, everybody? Today is going to be a little bit different of a video. I was in the middle of my workout and I just got some notifications, everything saying that Warner Brothers has announced they are going to be doing their own online virtual kind of like Comic Con event in lieu of Comic Con being canceled this year due to the pandemic. So this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter, and yeah, it's going to be called DC FanDome. Will take place August 22nd. We'll take a look at the company's film and television, comic book slate, etc. So pretty much, w- we can assumingly expect anything that we would typically get out of Warner Brothers announcements at Comic Con, we're going to get here instead, which I think is really cool. The only thing that kind of is like confusing to me is that Comic Con is doing their own sort of virtual event this year because they had to cancel the actual San Diego Comic Con convention. So it's curious because there has been, very little information about what's actually going to be taking place during the Comic Con virtual event. Like, I don't think they've made any announcements as to if there's going to be some studio presence, and if they're, if Marvel's going to come and they're going to showcase stuff like they normally would in like a Hall H presentation. Same with Warner Brothers or anything like that. So it's kind of interesting that Warner Brothers has come out and said that they are going to be hosting their own virtual event. And obviously, when I first, and that's not even the main reason that I'm making this video, by the way. I just something else came out like shortly after this that has to do with this that wasn't even on my mind, because when I first saw this, I was like, dude, awesome! I really want to see some Batman footage. Like, I would love to see some footage of Batman. And as I'm like thinking that, I know it's going to be pretty much. I mean, they're not gonna have, like, a trailer ready, right? They had to stop production of filming the Batman, 3 months ago when the pandemic happened. They had to stop filming. So, they haven't even been filming, and they haven't gone back to filming yet either. They've made an announcement that, the UK is gonna be opening up production for, Hollywood and everything to actually start shooting back in the UK again, but the Batman film hasn't officially itself gone back into production. So, I'm kinda skeptical on what even amount of footage that they're really going to be able to show us of, like, the Batman. And then with Wonder Woman 84, I know it just recently got pushed back. I can't remember, no, yeah, I guess the article says that Wonder Woman, 84 got pushed back to October 2nd now. So, we'll probably get our final trailer for Wonder Woman 84 at this event. But with Wonder Woman 84, I already know what to expect from it. I mean, Patty Jenkins did a great job with the first one. I don't really need to see any more footage from Wonder Woman 84 to be any more excited for Wonder Woman 84 than I already am. So, I mean, it's cool that we're going to be getting that. Like, I'm not gonna turn it down by any means, but if you're gonna host an event just to do that, and then the movie is gonna be coming out in, like, a month or so after that anyway, it's not really that big of a deal. Because presumably, if the event wasn't there, we would have had whatever footage or trailer they're gonna drop of that movie would have came out with or without the event. So, that being said, I was initially excited about Batman, but I'm kinda keeping my expectations realistic because I don't really know how much footage they're going to be even have to put some that has post-production done, ready to go, to actually show the public. I'm not sure if they're really gonna have much. My biggest if I had to bet any money, I would just say that maybe we'll have some sort of sizzle reel for it. Maybe we'll get our first official looks at, maybe more of the suit, maybe more of the Batmobile, maybe our first look at, Penguin and Riddler. That'd be my biggest guess, is our first official looks at that. If not, more than likely it's a sizzle reel. But getting back into the main reason that's, I made this video, um, was because it was there's a little film, a little DC property coming out that completely slipped my mind. And, not because I'm not excited about it, but just because there hasn't been any really news about it. We haven't even had a trailer for it yet, and this is a film from DC that actually is finished production and has been in post-production since the pandemic. So they've been able to not only have they been able to work on it, but they have actively been in post-production for months now, and they've been done shooting. And that is none other than James Gunn's Suicide Squad sequel. And this is what actually got me excited, because I wasn't even like, this wasn't even on my radar. When I first heard the announcement for this FanDome event, this DC FanDome event, I was like, "Okay, yeah, Batman, cool. I'm excited to see whatever they gotta show." I did not even think of the Suicide Squad movie. But then James Gunn on Twitter says, "I can't wait for this. The cast and I will be there, and we're planning to show so much fun stuff." So you can pretty much take to the bank that we're going to get our first official Suicide Squad trailer, James Gunn's Squad trailer, at the DC FanDome event, which it took me by complete surprise because just unbeknownst to me, I wasn't even thinking about Suicide Squad. Like, we haven't had any, all we've had as far as announcements or anything for this movie, it's just been like set photos and things like that. There hasn't been really any official marketing or anything done for this film, which is fine because I mean, it's not coming out for a while. So, I mean, I don't expect there to be any trailers or anything. But it wasn't even on my radar because there's been no news about it other than, and there's no news is good news. So the last news we had was around the time the pandemic happened. James Gunn said that they officially wrapped production. So, I mean, that's pretty much been all the news that we've had. And boom, we got this. So that got me really excited because I love James Gunn. He's done a great job. He did a great job with Guardians. He did great. I loved Super with Rainn Wilson. Slither was great. So I was really excited when Warner Brothers was able to pick him up and actually have him come in to do the sequel for Suicide Squad. It was a perfect fit. I mean, just based on the work that he did with uh Guardians and what he can do with an ensemble cast, we've seen because of Guardians, right? So I was just really excited about that, and it took me by complete surprise. Like, it probably shouldn't have, but I literally wasn't even thinking about it. And I'm curious, really. So I mean, that being said, what I'm really curious to see with this event, and I'm sure Rick and I will talk more about this on the H&U show on Monday. Um, what this really means going forward as far as these Comic Con events and these virtual events. I'm wondering if is this DC FanDome event, is it only here and existing as a result of the pandemic and because of Comic-Con being closed or canceled this year rather? Like, is that the only reason they're doing this, or is this an event that we can actually plan on and look forward to as the years come? Um, because I mean, I've thought for the longest time, like, these studios don't have to go to Comic Con. Like, they don't have to go. I think Marvel just the other year didn't have a Hall H presentation at Comic Con. Like, they don't have to go, and it's a logistical nightmare for the studios to actually get all these actors into not just into Hall H, but to fly into San Diego to attend Comic Con. It's a logistical nightmare. Sometimes it's super expensive to get the actors. The actors aren't available sometimes because really the best way for the studio to ensure they can actually get their actors that they need, quote unquote, to be at Comic Con is to hope that they are currently filming that movie they're wanting to show like right then. Like when Marvel did the Eternals presentation, for instance, at Comic Con, sorry, at Comic Con the other year, they were all able to go rather easily because they were literally in the middle of filming that movie. So they were in production. They left to go to San Diego to do the Hall H panel, and then they flew right back to wherever they were filming and just continued filming. So that's like a best case scenario for the studios when it comes to actually getting the talent that they're wanting there to be able to attend, is if they're filming that movie right then. Because otherwise, if the movie's already filmed, these actors could be more than likely are doing other jobs right now. Like, they're working on completely other films, probably with another studio. So, if for instance, if Warner Brothers is trying to promote a DC movie, but like, let's just take the Batman for instance, so they want to get Robert Pattinson to attend Comic Con, obviously. Um, but if the movie's already done with production, Robert Pattinson could be busy filming a completely different movie, not under the Warner Brothers banner, so they can't even logistically get Robert Pattinson to come because he's in the middle of another job, in the middle of another contract. So, like, it just can't always happen. And we've seen it before where like they'll have the events and some actors will be there, some actors won't, and whatever. And like I said, I'll get into this more on the show on Monday. But just the quick thoughts I had was mainly just, can we expect this every year? Or should we expect it every year? Is it a good idea for the studios to be doing their own virtual events? Because getting the talent to actually be able to attend Comic Con aside, 9 times out of 10, anything that the studios show or drop or debut as far as trailers or footage or anything like that goes, most of it becomes available on YouTube 5 minutes after they show it to Hall H or whatever it is, right? So it's special for the people who are there, and these kind of virtual events will never be able to replace Comic-Con itself, like in the experience of being in Hall H and the cast coming out and all that stuff. That's like the top peak, right? But do they really need to do it? Do they need to continue to go through the logistical nightmare and the expenses of getting the actors there if they can just host their own virtual events? The actors can do a panel remotely, and it's like a double-edged sword because, it sucks for the people at Comic-Con because Comic-Con's gonna, it'll still be great, but they won't have as much to look forward to as far as, the Hall H panels and things like that if studios begin to do their own thing like this. I mean, even like, take Star Wars, Celebration, for example. Star Wars doesn't really do anything at Comic-Con anymore because they have their own event. Why would they be showcasing things off at Comic-Con if they have their own convention? Same with just Disney in general with D23. They haven't been doing that. They have their own stuff. So it, in a way, hurts Comic-Con when they do this. At the same time, Comic-Con's been overcrowded. They've needed to move it out of San Diego for years because it's just talk about a logistical nightmare for the studios getting the talent there. It's a logistical nightmare and a financial nightmare for you and I to attend San Diego Comic Con. There's just it's the venue is too small, and there's too many people that want to go. So hotel prices are insanely expensive. Tickets are insanely expensive. You're elbow to elbow. It is what it is. But anyway, I'm been rambling on for too long because, like I said, I will get into this stuff more on the show on Monday. But for now, what are your guys' thoughts of the DC FanDome event? Are you looking forward to it? What more from DC are you expecting to see? Like, could we? Because like I said, Suicide Squad wasn't even on my radar, and then I saw James Gunn's announcement, and I was like, holy, that'd be great. I'm looking forward to that now. So, do you think we'll see anything from any teases of Shazam 2? Maybe will we get any sort of information about the HBO Max Green Lantern show? Whatever it is, guys, let me know in the comment section below. And before I forget, if you want to get a topic or question answered by either myself or Rick on the show or during a 21 question segment or anything like that, email us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That being said, I'm Rob Bifo. Take care.